Questions, comments? Thank you, Bramek. You can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen, for a very scientific approach, to the economics and data. We'll call it data economics. I think really what is important is really for you to be in this industry, you have to understand the landscape in terms of what the two gentlemen have defined. And I think that the crux of the matter is that, the landscape of what we do is a subset, I'm talking about the creative economy, is a subset of a much bigger national challenge, which is to lift our people out of poverty. And I think that the creative economy has played a major part or continues to do that. But like any other industry, anything that's got to do with the creative economy is actually at the bottom of the scale when it comes to budget allocation at a national level. And I think if we all look at what happened with COVID, the industry that was hit the most is the creative economy, where government slashed budgets and all kinds of things. So I think a major part of this data also points to the potential growth that's there, subject to the support that needs to be nurtured with our governments, but also to play in the international space where if you go to Canada, you go to Germany, the ecosystem for the creative economy is the most flourishing. And there's a desire to collaborate, to partner, so that you go beyond just the confines of South Africa. But more importantly, I think what this data economics is pointing to, not only are we talking about the challenges, but we're also talking about the opportunities that are there to close ranks. Collaboration, dialogue, as well as partnership seems to be the currency throughout this webinar. That seems to be coming across as well in terms of the data economics. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Bramek. I think I have seen His Majesty earlier, but then the hand was dropped. So I'm seeing David. If you can go ahead, David. David, you are muted. Your hand is up. And then followed by Dominic. Please go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't have a question.
Okay. You just raise your hand. David, can you hear us? You are muted. His Majesty, do you still want to say something? Mr. Tumelo. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? Please go ahead.
Can you guys hear me well?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, good. I am visually impaired. I come from a life where I could see, and I created Motswako music along with Motlapele Murule, who goes by a farmer, Momulimi. And me and him did a lot of work. We did work with WHP, our good brother in the sky. God bless the angels of Jabulani Tsambo and AKA and Sholov Tibbs. They were a good brother of mine in management to break barriers of disability, because we created a specimen of an art form which unfortunately doesn't know what C20 is, and non-profit organizations. And I've worked with many counters from abroad like Rhapsody, Ninth Wonder, Little Brother, Jamla Records, and me and SA Music Week worked to break the digital divide to include people living with all disabilities of Africa. Because without metadata for disability, you educating yourself. You're not including people with disability as Africans. And that's where I break the barrier with my initiative to come with a pitch deck from many people. So that's who I represent in faculty with my foundation, with South African Music Week. And that's a presentation of Tumelo Mashokwe from Botswana. I'm Magaba by my ancestor. I'm royalty, and I represent Botswana, which I brought YFM on the day Facebook dropped. I'm a support engineer, and I use my technology with AI technology, with a lot of assistive technologies to assist people like us. So I want to put that on the board so we take it forward. That's who I am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mashokwe. So thank you. Thank you. Mr.
Come
David.
on, man.
Are you... Sorry, is there a second voice there?
Yes, that's me. I would like to talk quickly. It's Dr. Khasu. I'm a panelist. May I quickly talk if it's possible?
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. I would like to know that am I logged in as a panelist already? I just wanted to check.
Are you Dr. Maputi?
Yes.
No, you're coming on next, ma. You're on the next panelist.
All right. I thank you, ma'am. I thank you, Malebo.
No problem. Thank you, ma'am. David, can we move on then? Perhaps if there are no questions from the floor, I think from my side, from the two different speakers that have spoken, there was one thing that came out. Dominic, thank you. I think as some of the comments that were made earlier on by a few different speakers in the earlier panel discussions, there was a comment that Silva made, and he was like, guys, do we think that all of this needs to go to G20? And I think unpacking the discussion so far, there's a definite need that education is key. It's something that has come up almost with every panel that we've had. And I mean, to be sitting here with two, I'm not sure if Abramike had orchestrated this, that both Jonathan and Gugu are PhD students. I'm like, wow. But also the issue of education also came out very strong in terms of the content that we're supposed to when it comes to conferences that we attend. But also, though, I think from my perspective, Jonathan is talking from way up there about the different content that is supposed to be integrated to these conferences. But the earlier discussions also informed us that there is lack of basic information that the creators have in terms of knowing their rights, in terms of knowing the basic information about metadata. How do they access that? How do they become people that can negotiate better? Because it is within this digital exploitation that is there because of lack of information that causes, unfair payments and so on and so forth. And I think as we think forward in terms of what needs to be done between now and March, when SA Music Week has their next event, there's definitely has to be like an intention, to have the education academy, if I may use your word, Jonathan, maybe not necessarily starting off at the top end, but just taking the creators from basics up to where they need to be. I don't know if you have your comments from your side. I'll take comments from you, or from both of you, Jonathan and Gugu, since there aren't any other questions. Okay, there's one question from Kate, but I'll take you, Jonathan, and then I'll go to Kate, and then I'll close with Gugu. Thank you.
Yes, thanks so much. And I very much hear the points that are being raised. And I definitely don't want to come across as trying to sort of instill some elitism or something like that. I just think that there is a place that if we are to move forward, certain things need to be recognized and on the table. But that doesn't mean that the workshops need to stop or anything. There needs to be a general basic education, and that's what I'm involved with on a day-to-day basis to some extent. I think I'm just showing my frustration with the process, that a lot of this gets studied, and there are lots of music students and so on. Those let me leave it there.
Awesome. Thank you for that explanation, Jonathan. We'll take Kate. Kate, you have the floor.
Firstly, I think it's great everybody, if you are able to hear me, because I was having trouble with hearing Jonathan. So I got in the meeting so late. I think it was like already 15 minutes into it ending, but a little that I got, it's about how does the creative space sort of move forward in this era that we are moving into. So what I want
We've lost you, Kate. Your line is not stable.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
No problem. You're back here. Just go ahead.
Yes, so I'm not sure where was the last point that you could hear me. But what I was saying is that I hear you guys speaking about education and how it should be implemented and all of that. And I just wanted to make a little bit of suggestion with the little knowledge that I have up to so far. So it's a matter of letting people know that knowledge is already out there for you to actually look for it and find it. You can literally get anything or know anything from the new AI systems that are put into place. It's a matter of knowing how to apply what are the right AI prompts, so as to speak. So I just wanted to add that. Again, I just got here a little bit late, so I couldn't get the entire gist of what the conversation was about. But yeah.
Well noted. Thank you so much, Kate, for that contribution. Thank you. And then Gugu, please go ahead. Any parting remarks from your side? Mr. Gugu Nyoni.
Sure. Yes, thank you so much. Sorry, I just needed to reconnect.
Sorry.
Yes, so I think we basically need to rally around ensuring that the flow of money in the different spheres, networks, economies, economic blocks like SADC and so forth globally and across the G20 reflect the bigger vision of building stronger and resilient societies and economies beyond South Africa, beyond Africa, and globally. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, a very thank you to our panelists, our Jonathan Shaw and Gugule Tunyoni. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. And I know after this conversation, we'll be reaching out to you and taking this further in how we can, do the things that need to be done within the industry. Thank you so much. And then I'm gonna move on to the next panel, which is Dr. Nolan Andre Coma from Coma Fest in Brazil. Are you in the house, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And then Dr. Maputi Mweti, I think I just spoke to her. Dr. Maputi, you still on?
Yeah, I'm here online.
You're here online? Okay, thank you. And then His Majesty Siwa.
All right, I'm here.
Okay. And then His Majesty? His Majesty, are you on the call? Okay, so we have Mr. Andre Coma and we have Dr. Maputi Mweti, and we are missing His Majesty. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead with the, is it you, Mr. Mashogwe? Are you His Majesty? You are muted, sir, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, great. Yeah, I represent the angle for inclusivity with AI technology. I've got partners from Mauritius. I've got partners from Google applications for disability education. That is the digital divide that South Africa is missing.
Okay, so I just want to find out first, I just want to confirm if your other name is Siwa. Are we talking, I just want to get the right person on the panel. So I'm looking for His Majesty Siwa. Okay. So can we then, Dr. Maputi Mweti and Mr. Andre Coma, please can you get ready? We are gonna start the second panel discussion where we need you to talk as community leaders from a region that has benefited from music tourism. So we need you to help us understand the impact of music tourism within your community based on your experience. So if you may, I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Andre Coma. If you can introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and then talk to your experience as a community leader who has experienced music tourism within your region. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Sorry about I'm English. I am always learning. It's not our natural language. In Brazil, it's Portuguese. My name is André Nobla. It's Coma. It's my festival, Coma Fest, and we started this. I am producer, I'm journalist, and I am musician too. Now I'm in Canada touring with my band. I came from Brasilia, is the capital from Brazil. It's a city with 3 million people, and a great city of music there. But we have in Brazil biggest cities like São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and those biggest cities, they are more attractive for the mainstream, for the media, for everything. So since 2007, we started a festival, the Coma Fest, with an idea to attract the media and, of course, the people from other cities to be at our city, and new artists, because it's a festival that are focused in bring the new voices, new artists in Brazil and outside of Brazil. These new artists come from all the parts of the country, and we mix it up with big artists from our country too. So the idea is build this platform to show their work to the country and outside of the country, because we invite international producers and everything. Since we began this festival with that goals, a lot of people in Brazil started to take a train or airplane to our city, so they know there is a platform that will show them new artists from all the places in Brazil, because Brazil is a huge country. We have almost 300 million people, and our cultural is so, we have a lot of kinds of music in each part of the country. So when we made this, we started to attract people that love music and want to know what is happening in all the places in our country. So since the beginning, so during the festival, all the hotels in the city are busy, and each year more people are coming, because we built a new kind of festival in Brazil, because the festivals that we know is the biggest ones that, of course, they happen in those biggest cities. So everybody goes there, and the smallest cities, they don't have nothing to attract, of course, tourism. So we build something new. We are not going to see the biggest artists ever, because we already have this kind of festival. So we built a new kind of festival, and we start to attract people. So we learn that we have space. The smallest cities have space too, if they build a new kind of project. We have to get out of the box. We have to try to build something new and offer something new. Because if you offer what the biggest cities are offering to, it's easier to the people to go to the biggest cities. So we change it, we building something new, and now it's working. We started, it's a festival for 25,000 people each day. We have 4 days of festival. It started with 200 people, 2,000 people coming from other cities, and now we have like 8,000 people coming from other cities. And for us, it's great. I think I did a resume.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Yeah.
25,000 from 2000 and 8,000 are actually not from the city. That is super amazing. And that's exactly what we are trying to talk about here, the impact of music tourism in our cities, communities, and what it does in terms of bringing people together, boosting local economies, and so on and so forth. Thank you so much for that introduction, Andre. And then I'm going to hand over to Dr. Maputi Mweti. Ma, please can you introduce yourself and then just talk to us about your own experience in terms of being a local community leader who has experienced and benefited from tourism, from rather music tourism.
Can I talk quickly? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear you.
My label, what I've not experienced here, I have not heard anybody saying anything in an African language or a narrative of another one. I will tell you, Kitlile, with Ntate Michael Moeti, Anjarne Kasilopo. What I want to first take is the music week, what it did for me, Kitlile Limurusu, from Lesotho all the way from home. So I want us to first, before I talk too much, I've not heard anybody saying anything in a language that they can speak of comfortably. So I
You're allowed to speak in your language, but you must understand that we are...
I'll speak in English. It's fine. It's okay. But what I would like us to appreciate and understand, at this moment, I had a lot of speakers talking, and I liked other pointers that we have to reach out. At this moment, what I can say safely so is that I have reached out too much, and the demo reached out to me too much in terms of what we did. We were able to manage the music week when we launched it there, when we had the artists like Murusu. Murusu comes from home in Lesotho. He plays Korean. So we had that, we had managed that, we had manifested, and we had Korean playing. And through the music week, we could manage to do a collaboration. I think there was another guy, Frost. He came through, and through the South African Music Week, Frost met with Murusu. The collaboration that came there was the fact that they all can play accordion. I would like to address what they did is music is a love language. I have to still say at this moment, I sit on a story that I want to see who can reach out to me because I'm writing a film now called Abigail. I live in the Northern Cape, which is very far. Is I live in Daborswap, but what we can do, music can touch hearts. I want to seek somebody to assist because I've recorded over 300 songs for Takalani System, 300 songs for Tamantabong. When they say, and again, so these are the kind of rights that we need to be pulling back. These are the kind of things. Currently, I sit with a show that is, I think we are on about 1.3 million viewers for Emasisweni. We still have music there. We are on SABC 1. We are the top show. I'm writing a film titled Abigail. We are still the top one. And forums like NFVF support people. What our people need to understand with clarity, when you get things to apply for, you need to have clarity. Because if you don't apply with clarity, if you don't do what, you need to understand how funding works. But I think a lot of people don't understand which forums they should go to. I think I said very painfully to think the reason that they're being sabotaged is because they don't knock on doors. They don't knock on doors correctly. And I still sit, I've got a program that still hit the charts. Still Elangani generations. I sit here peacefully. And the most important thing, we still have radio. So I would like to see what we can do to collaborate. And I think as people, we need collaboration. Because if I've got a show that's on air, that's working successfully, it's currently on air. and it's on SABC1 and it's working so beautifully. I have to sit painfully and write. And then I have to tell a music producer, okay, I need this from you. I need that from you. Shaluza Max, the late one, passed on, unfortunately. When I recorded so many things, I was not paid little time. I mean, these are kind of things that are hateful. But that being said, I still sat and said, oh, but Tom, how do we do that? And like I said, the minute I brought Morusu in, we deal with marginalized content of music. And the first person who introduced Morusu on the platform was Ndate Michael Moiti. And he performed at the other Thenya Music Week. And that's the Korean people. And they played like that. So when I talk, because we also have to have something, because I heard my beautiful gentleman saying, Brazil, what? Language is key. Like I said, I live in the Northern Cape. I live in Dalbarsdorp. It's about, I will explain proximity. I'm about 60 kilometers from Kimberley, 2 hours away from Kurman. But what Ndate Michael Moeti did is to introduce the opportunity for Morusu to play clavier. And then from there, Morusu was just excited. He met Frost through the Forum of Music Week. They met when we were there at the Joburg one, and they met, and that was a cultural collaboration. That's what we want. And like I said, I heard other people talking about, we understand how governments work, but at this moment, I'm sitting on a film that NFVF, National Film Video Foundation, have supported every initiation. SABC, when you are licensed, you have to go through contracts. SABC, I've got a program. They are supporting every single thing. What people need to do is to understand. I think our people are not empowered enough to read contracts, to know, okay, this one, contractually, this is what's due to you, so that it's done correctly. And I think what the Music Week has done is that it's opened opportunities for people to have a dialogue. Because through Ndate Michael Moeti, I can now know that Koreana matters. Koreana matters, because Ndate Morusu came and we could present Sotho music. I think we also need to appreciate the San music and all of that. But through all of the forums, we need to understand what rights we've got, what we've got to do, what we have to do, at what space. I want to talk to people, because I was teaching in Kuruman, children who I mentor. When I told them, I said, guys, when you are doing in the film industry, you can score music. They give you your red card. So people don't know that through scoring, you can get money. Through all of that, you can get money.
Thank you for that info. I just want to give an opportunity to, maybe there's lots of people in the room that
I believe so. Yes. They can ask me questions. Yes.
But thank you so much for the information shared. And what I picked up is that you were stressing that, there's opportunities out there. We just need to go out and find them. You're actually echoing what Kate said earlier on. That we lack certain information around contracts and stuff, but you have the importance of collaboration, using local language, and also just cultural exchange. I think those are the few things that I picked up from what you were saying. But
I think just quickly before I part, I am one of the only living child stars in South Africa. Yes, I'm the only living child star.
Okay, now I know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please stay on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the only living pastor in South Africa that we have currently, and we are so blessed to have her on the line. So I'm going to open up for questions for both Dr. Maputi Mweti and for Mr. Andre Noblat from Brazil. I didn't really want to start with you, Pramak, but seeing that you are there, please go ahead, Pramak.
I want to take this opportunity. to thank Andre for gracing our event. It's such an honor for us to celebrate, a country like Brazil. We have a lot in common, Andre, in terms of you focusing on emerging talent and putting that talent on the global stage. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to visit Toronto and to meet with you in person. But I'm hoping that as the time goes on, we'll be looking at collaborations and engagements and even a cultural exchange between your festival and our event, because, Brazil is like we are brothers and sisters. We are also part of BRICS. And Brazil and South Africa are the big brothers of the G20, with America not here. Brazil and South Africa have crossed paths with President Trump, who has a lot of issues with Brazil, and as it is with South Africa. But I just want to know from you, Andre, how are you funded in Brazil to make this festival that you do a success? That's my question.
Okay. Thanks, Michael, for having me here. Before I answer your question, it will be a great honor, and we'll be very happy to do these exchanges with you and Africa artists and projects, because we have such Africa is in our blood, man, and we have a huge connection with your country and continent, culturally speaking, and we have a lot of festivals in Brasilia, our city, my city. We have like a season of festivals that starts on May, because it's a months without rain, so we do like 10 or 12 festivals this season, and there is a lot of them, mine and 2 or 3 more that like are very speaks a lot with the African culture, so we can do a lot of exchange, bring artists, take artists to Africa and bring artists to Brazil. We really have an opportunity to make this happen. But answer your question, we have our festival survive with private sponsors and public sponsors. We have some laws in Brazil to private companies put money in your festival. They give some advantage if they put money in culture. So we have some private sponsors that use this law to sponsor our festival, and we have a great partnership with the new government, with our new president. It's not so new because we are going to the 4th year, but since we changed the presidency there, they started to increase money for culture there again.
Awesome. That's amazing. Thank you for that information, Andre.
Helping us to make this happen.
I think the people in the room have actually tried to help you out with some information that you couldn't get in English. We're thinking you're talking about your incentives. Maybe the government incentivize you for.
Yes, there is 2 laws. Yes. One federal, it's Brazil, and one law in our city, incentive law in our city. So we use both. to this festival.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Thank you. We're taking notes so that you can go and talk to our own government. Thank you for that info. Dominic, I see your hand is up.
Thank you. A question for Andre again. I had the pleasure of meeting Andre and some of his colleagues. And the thing is, I met the city official who came with Andre here for the festivals and to help them see through the tour. So the city is heavily invested in the culture, in the music. And my question to you is, how do you get your city to be so invested and involved that you even send even a chaperone to come along with you to a festival in Canada?
My city, it's the capital, but it's a new city in Brazil. Like, we have 66 years. It's very young, but since the beginning, the music was part of our culture. The city was born, and soon we had a lot of artists that come from there to Brazil. So all the governments in our city started to look with passion to this subject. So during the years, of course, we start to build politics and laws to invest on culture, not only music, but music is a biggest part in our city, music and cinema. So now in the city we have the biggest cultural fund. It's not a law, an incentive law, it's a real fund. So every year we put like 100 million reals, not dollars, in our cultural system in Brazil. So they open for you to apply for projects. It's a fund from our city. So it's one of the cities in Brazil that have more money for culture, because since the beginning, our governors looked that with love and saw that this can bring money, this can bring tourists, this can bring the economy, the creative economy to our city, because as the capital, we don't have too many industrial things there, or large companies. So we need to invest in other kinds of economy. So the cultural economy was one of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any other question from anyone else other than Bramike? Okay, Bramike, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, what I can say is that, Andre, talking to you and listening to you is very emotional. And I don't think that that's what I do, but Brazil has so much Africa in it. And it would be a lost opportunity if we don't collaborate and do more with Brazil. Brasilia in itself, you have a lot of Africans that were taken there during the slave trade. But also one of the things that we remarkably celebrate in your country, Andre, is the carnival, the #1 carnival in the world. For almost a month we watch this amazing magic and chemistry that unfolds on social media about Brazil. We all want to come and visit your country, you have no idea. But let me say, without further ado, I did invite an official from one of our departments just to listen in on your presentation, Andre. And this is from the Department the National Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. I know she may not want to say anything, but she's listening with an open mind, with an open ear. And I think when time comes, Andre, will certainly be engaging with you to take this partnership, a cultural exchange with your city of Brasilia. And the biggest thing is that it's the biggest market. You know, I'm sure Amapiano is making inroads. This is a style of music from South Africa that's gone global. And I think we can also learn from you and overcome the barriers of language, because music is universal. There's no boundaries. And we're certainly looking forward to further engagement, Andre. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, man. And it will be our honor. Like, we love Africa, and Africa is, like I said, is in your blood. Another day, only a fast story. My father did. He maps his DNA, and he did he found that his DNA is 7-8% from Nigeria. So we are Africans too, man, and we really love and Africa is very important to us. So let's build this relationship, because we really want to build that, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those kind words, Andre. We really appreciate them. Dr. Maputima, do you have any closing remarks that you have for us?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I just wanted to find out, is there a discussion panel for disability here? Are we including us in the discussions, or, because I wanted to find out when that's going to be the agenda?
There's all the topics that we're talking to are talking to everybody, whether you...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Okay.
My only concern is, just like Mama, I'm sorry if it's Kate, but the lady that spoke of Ntate Murusi from Lesotho, that's royalty of Africanism, of education. You have to educate our peers, because there's Stevie Wonder that's still alive, there's Wapso that's still alive, there's visually impaired artists such as myself. I'm a poet, and I speak for culture of record label and AI equipment that can build a tech hub with partners from abroad. So why are we not putting pen to paper to include us in education? Because in the northwest of South Africa, it's a shame how batho ba bantsho ba treatang batho ba masara, ba tswang kae, xenophobia. And I'm from Africa. I'm from everywhere. I've got people in Kenya, I've got people in LA that want to be a part of this, but they're scared of ill treatment of our people, and we are seen as monsters. We're not seen as people that can speak well unless spoken for in another way. And we are musicians too. And AI is my partner as the black Elon Musk of fixing tech hubs, because we can do that as our own peers. We are also smart. We also want to raise 6-year-old children that can learn AI, ka Setswana, ka Sezulu, ka any language. And I'm learning Mandarin, and I'm teaching visually impaired people how to teach. And I've got 5 million streaming artists called Stiro God, who helps Paralympics, who we help everybody, but we are the 1% that is the poorest of the poor, poorer than black people. And we're not seen as Africans because we're not carried well in South Africa. And we want to speak to that with South African Music Week and Jonathan Butler, and make Braille AI tablets. I've got AI partners in South Africa that want to build schools. So we need to create education for everybody, not just people that can see, or because everybody can become disabled at some point. Israel is creating a war and creating the biggest Guinness World Book of Records of disability in the world.
And we're not included in that. And why is Fill Up the Dome, Mufftown Heights, all these events not including disability on stage? It's a crime. We are the best of the musicians. I don't write my lyrics, but I don't get seen as Casper Nyovest, which I created. And he doesn't see the disability. It's a crime that he can even do shows.
No.
And he doesn't include people. It's not right.
Our point taken, Mr. Mashokwe. I think Bramike here on behalf of SA Music Week is listening. But I mean, what you're saying is exactly what we were talking about in terms of, educating the industry. And I think it's something that we need to punt because it is an important thing. But in the bigger scheme of things, in terms of the different task forces within G20, there was one that was specific for disabled people. But I mean, I know you bringing it to the music context, which I think we've all taken note, and that we will ensure that, and I mean, after this, we were saying earlier on, I'm not sure if you had joined then, that after this webinar, there's going to be follow-up meetings through South African Music Week in terms of planning and making a way forward on how do we improve things, how do we collaborate, how do we move what we've started to the next level. But your point is well taken, and I think there's a huge opportunity there for the kind of work that you do and the partnerships that you have within AI and so on and so forth. Thank you for that contribution.
Bless you. Thank you so much for Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That being said, I think we are done with our panel. I just want to thank Andre Noblat. We are coming to Brazil soon. And Dr. Maputi Mueti, we are just going to be saying, what was she saying about that movie that she's writing? Abigail, please look out for messages from, I know you're in contact with Bramike, so we know she will take it over from here and just get in touch with you. Thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on swiftly to the next panel. And we are expecting to have a Mr. Ali Dahabu. I'm pronouncing it properly. He's a Nigeria High Commission. And then we also have Marcus Tawanda from Zimbabwe, and then we will also have Tumelo Mashokwe from Nase2 Vision Foundation. I just want to check in. Do we have those panelists in the house?
Yes, Mr. Ali is here. Good afternoon.
Welcome, Mr. Ali. And
thank you.
He's also here. And then Mr. Tumelo, Mr. Tumelo Mashokwe. Okay, maybe Tumelo is not here as yet, but not to worry. We will start and maybe he can join us later. Hello? Marcus is there, and Mr. Ali are both here. So
Mr. Tumelo is around. He's the one that was talking about the blind.
Oh, he's so sorry. He's already spoken. Mr. Tumelo, or has he left after saying what he needed to say? Anyway, as we look for him, maybe he might join us, or maybe he was answered, but we'll go ahead in the meantime. So we're going to talk to the topic that really is about guiding us on how do we balance tourist growth with with cultural authenticity and sustainability. And our two panelists will help us really unpack this. We've just heard the difference between economic growth and economic development, and maybe they'll touch on that. But the whole idea is for us to then say, okay, we have these tourists that are coming through. How do we balance the growth of these tourists with us still sticking to being cultural, authentic, and sustainable? So, like I said, I have Mr. Ali and Mr. Marcus who will be helping us unpack the topic. Gentlemen, please may you introduce yourselves. You have 5 minutes to do an introduction.
Okay.
Please. I'm going to start with you,
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much for having me on this panel. Well, I think I've learned a lot today from the panel discussion so far. So by way of introduction, my name is Ali Abu. I work at the Nigerian High Commission in Pretoria. I'm the trade attaché in Pretoria. Thanks for having me. So the question is, how do we balance tourist growth and cultural authenticity and sustainability? First of all, I think it's good to put on record that tourism generally, right, is rapidly growing, and thus is offering a very strong opportunities for all economies to grow. I mean, for economic growth and also create a lot of jobs, because there's a lot of issues around tourism. But the question then is, how do we balance this culture growth with cultural authenticity? And I think it's also, there are a lot of strategic planning and collaboration among various stakeholders that is also creating a lot of challenges. But I think there are three, for me, because of time, I'll pick three key actions that are very, very relevant if you're talking about cultural growth and also tourism growth and also balancing with cultural authenticity. And the first one, I think some speakers today did make some discussion around that point on the need for community involvement, like putting community as the center of every activity. So what that means, what that means for me is involving local communities in tourism, planning, decision making, to ensure that their cultural practices and traditions are well preserved, right? And I'll give an example as I speak into the conversation. So I mean, if you give a lot of community-based or center-based community involvement, it gives you that level of sustainability that you look for. For instance, let me give an example now. In Nigeria, there is what we call it's international fishing festival. It's called the Arugungu Fishing Festival. I mean, you are free to Google it. It's a yearly event organized in a state called Kebbi State. Kebbi State is about a population of 6.something million people. And so what those communities have done to themselves, or what the traditional institution have done, is to showcase traditional fishing heritage, right? With a very careful regulation to protect the fish stock. So what they do is every year, it's an open international festival. Every year, people come in from different states, different countries to do fishing in that particular pond. I would say it's a pond now or a sea, right? So there's competition where, for example, the biggest fish, the biggest fish catched during that period wins a car, wins a trip to Dubai or something, or also giving them a lot of money, right? So what that does is that they try to protect the fishing stock. So what is done this year, for instance, today is 17th of November, which means the next fishing festival will only happen on the 18th, on the 17th of November 2026. So 1 year after, there's no fishing activities within that period, right? And I'll give you another example again within that context of community involvement. Now there's what they call the Yoruba Cultural Festival. This festival attracts a lot of tourists, right? A lot of tourists come in there, but there's a lot of preservation. People try to preserve the environment in terms of what? In terms of the number of people, they manage the number of people that go into the site. There's control, but again, the management of the site is given to the community. So the community becomes a custodian and traditional rights of that cultural activities. So that's to talk about having a cultural community engagement, or putting community at the center of doing tourism attraction or tourism build up. Now, when you go further to another pillar or action point that I believe is how do you maintain a sustainable practice? In other words, how do you encourage eco-friendly practice within the tourism sector that can help minimize environmental impacts and issues like that what can promote sustainable accommodation or sustainable cultural practices, right? Or initiatives. So in that context, again, I like giving an example of Nigeria, right? So Nigeria, for instance, we have a game reserve that is wide, and every season the wildlife, they move into that game reserve of different species. Some say that some of these animals migrate from South Africa, so they say whatever route they take, but they migrate, they go there, they are there. Different kind of species are there. So what the government tried to do is to implement a control access to these wildlife zones. They try to introduce or reduce vehicle inflation or noise, and then at the same time try to attempt to manage the waste management, right? And for them, if you go to Yankari Game Reserve, for instance, now there's a lot of accommodation that are there. There's a hot spring that is there. But what the government tried to do is to ensure that people are guided towards guided towards the visit to these wildlife. You don't just open your windows, for example. So sometimes it's good you listen to the tourist the tourist guide, and they say don't open your windows. When I went there, I was very naive. I bought my bananas for my breakfast. I put it in my room, and unfortunately I forgot to lock my window. Those guys came from nowhere and took my bananas. I'm lucky it was monkeys. I'm lucky it was monkeys. It was tiger or lion or something. Well, I won't be here with this conversation I'm doing today. So there's a need to always have a sustainable infrastructure or a environmental protection initiative that will help guide all these processes. And I'll give another example here. I'll give you another example. There's the Lekki Convention Center in Lagos, right? And it's a kind of canopy walkway that helps to protect mangrove ecosystem. So there's a way you have to have a sustainable, allowing the question, to have a very sustainable, balanced tourist growth and cultural diversity, you have to ensure that there's sustainability in everything you do. Otherwise, you'll be going out of scale, and that wouldn't go over well for the community. And I think on the final note, maybe one of the key action points I also think, and I think that has also been mentioned today, is about educational or cultural education, right? And what do I mean by that? Maybe implementing educational programs, not only for the local host community, but also the tourists, right? About the cultural practice that can help foster respect and appreciation for the local culture, right? Very, very key. The local culture is very key. And then training communities in terms of hospitality and heritage conservation are very, very key elements that are very, very important in having a sustainable tourism growth. Just finally, again, before I close, just to give you a good example of what I mean by that, there's a carnival that happens in Nigeria. Nigeria is a country of, they say 250 million, 700 something different languages, right? So there's a particular carnival in the Cross River region of the country. They try to market Nigerian cultural diversity globally. But also they try to maintain their tradition, the ethnic tradition, right? So putting a public awareness campaign, if you do that, you are encouraging cultural respect and environmental cleanliness. So people begin to, this is my project, right? So when they are well educated, then that relationship between the three pillars are well identified. So, but in conclusion, so let me just say, by balancing tourism growth with cultural authenticity and sustainability, we require one, empowering the local communities as a key custodian of this institution or site. Then, of course, government must invest in sustainable infrastructure while also promoting a responsible visitors' behavior. And with that, I think, yes, we demonstrate that, yes, tourism can grow while we are preserving our rich heritage, integrity. I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ali, for that in-depth explanation with proper examples that you've used from Nigeria. Appreciate it. We're gonna move to Marcus. Mr. Marcus, please can you firstly introduce yourself and then just talk to us, help us understand how we can balance tourist growth with cultural authenticity and sustainability. Thank you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Thank you very much. It's been such a pleasure to be attending this seminar from the very beginning. Learned so much. I'd like to thank Bra Mike for the invitation. My name is Marcus Gora. I am a cultural practitioner based in Harare, Zimbabwe. I am chair on the board of the Music in Africa Foundation, and I am also deputy chair on the board of the National Arts Council in Zimbabwe. But on my other work, I manage bands. I manage a fantastic band called Mukumba from Victoria Falls. And I also run a festival in honor of the late, great Oliver Mtukudzi at this center called Pakare Pai Arts Center in a small town called Norton. So I just wanted to introduce part of what we do and how we come to intersect with culture in general and also tourism. I was enjoying listening to Oga Abu Ali from Nigeria, and so I didn't want to repeat a lot of the points that he's articulated, but would rather build, in the interest of time, build on that submission by saying that asking a question rather, to say what is the biggest threat to cultural authenticity. Tourism could be one of them, but in a sense, any growth, whether it's economic growth, any growth you can think about, can be a threat to authenticity. And the thinking that we have to have, and it's across the board, any country on the continent with similar circumstances has to worry about how we ring fence our cultural authenticity, how do we protect it, and how do we incentivize communities and make people want to take part, feel that it is important and value that it is important to preserve sustainably our culture and our tourism, whether we're talking about the natural environment or our customs, which are intangible and exist among us. One of the biggest threats that I've seen working in the cultural space for a long time has emanated from where the funding comes from. So whoever pays the money, who pays the piper calls the tune, and that's the biggest threat. I'll explain very briefly. So in the cultural space, in the cultural tourism space, because there is not enough, say, government support or enough commercial support, you will have sometimes the intersection of civil society, which is trying really to build on development issues, intersecting with the cultural space as a vehicle to communicate their messages and stuff like that. And the drama with that is that usually it comes out in a very top-down relationship where it's the call for funding from Brussels, from whatever capital, telling us to respond to the environment or to respond to HIV/AIDS or any other issue that affects us. And our communities and our artists now have to respond. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. But if that's the only support that's available, it means every other artist, every other community is really trying to dance to this tune, and it's being done at the detriment of our own agency as a people and our priorities, the things that we care about, the things that we want to articulate. So you will find that most of the time, funding becomes a key issue if we want to ring fence our own culture and our own sort of tourism environment. Is there has to be ways to support, and then government is primarily responsible to come up with methods to fund and make sure money flows to these communities so that we are not then enticed to lose ourselves or to follow the trends or to not value ourselves and our own culture because we're looking at a little bit of funding. So that's the biggest threat. And I think if we find ways to support artists, communal tourism players, especially the small ones, artists, creatives, then we have some kind of a framework through which we can support and maintain the integrity of our culture. That would be my submission.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming with that angle, because truly it's about who has the pocket, and we tend to drift towards that because of current circumstances. Thank you for that submission, Marcus. Mr. Mashokwe, I know you had already introduced yourself, but can you then perhaps just talk to how do we balance tourism, tourist growth and cultural authenticity and sustainability?
Okay, great. That's a beautiful question. Thank you for asking that with a blind love concept of it, because we love regardless, because education is bringing harnessing of already culture in Botswana, culture in the SADC region where the Mashokwe name is well proud, and bringing endorsement to something that I used to do. Second nature brings us to breathe better, and it's orientational mobility. How we ka silungu sa gago in your language ya se Africa o khona go letsa meletlo ya pelo. It's the heartbeat that starts everything. So because Motswako brought music to Montsiwa, to Mafikeng, where radio 011, all the radio stations, Skills Village Radio is in Kenya. We are bringing tourism right now as a small group of 1% that brings AI technology. We can take sports and to India with what we're doing already as Nasetu Vision Foundation. So I want to partner with other NGOs which are free of scammers of the past that just want to endorse good music. And with AI technology, CureView, we can build our own African-based tech hubs of music creation with my father's legacy, SABC, Leslie Mashokwe, Radio Bob, TV1, TV2, CCV, all those newsline and agendas are medias, journalistic stuff that everybody used to watch in the pre-eras of blind television South Africa. Whatever podcast that we create creates music. And I've got lots of people all over the world that want to come here in South Africa. And that's what I've got partners from abroad that want to create that. So yeah, let's go along those routes and connect numbers. Let's create a strategy, an outline for 5 years, and investors should grow in your of course G20, security, music, all the partners that endorse sports, arts, and culture in inclusivity in the C20, D20, G20, W20 is incorporated in everything that we do. So music is our heartbeat. So if we curate to life and vision, then we can all see with one eye, which is the heart. So that's how we should bring Africa home and take it to Brazil and make exchange situations. I've really got artists that have been to Brazil. Steamer G.O.D. who was African brand shows.
Your line is extremely Mr.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Your line is just not helping us. But I think we heard you, and I think one of the things that you're also highlighting is that you are here, you are available, you're looking forward to collaborating with other NGOs and other organizations.
Correct.
Yes, I think we've got that message clear. Ladies and gentlemen, any question for the panelists that they've just spoken to us? Mr. Ali Abu, he's spoken in depth in terms of how important it is to get the community involved, and then and Mr. Marcus was more about what is it that would drive us, to lose that authenticity and sustainability, and he highlighted funding as one of the key factors that would help us keep our cultural authenticity and sustainability. Are there any questions? I know you're probably looking at the time and you want to call it a day. So I'm not gonna spend too much time. Bramike?
I want to make a quick comment.
Yes,
I think a point of view have well been taken. Collaboration is everything. But more importantly, just to show you the degree to which we want to collaborate with our continent, we are busy engaging with the Nigerian High Commission to bring the Nigerian industry in our next live event in March. That will be happening here in Johannesburg. And it'll be part of a reciprocal program that we are putting together to strengthen the bilateral ties between South Africa and Nigeria, which will then also result in us launching a Nigeria Africa Music Week in Lagos or Abuja. So this is part of an engagement that we are undertaking. But also connecting the dots, I want to say that we are building a bridge to Nigeria, we're building a bridge across the continent, but more importantly, a bridge into Canada and other parts of the world, and more significantly, Brazil. So I can say arts, culture, and heritage is the backbone of everything that we are doing, and definitely collaboration, partnerships is the currency of what South African Music Week is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Bramike. And thank you to our panelists. I'm so glad to hear what Bramike has just said about Nigeria. So we shall be, learning from some of the things that you guys are doing. So it's always nice to hear what other people are doing to for the very same cause that you're trying to achieve, which is authenticity and sustainability. So I would just like to thank you for your time, Mr. Ali Abu and Mr. Marcus Gora. And you, Mr. Tumelo Mashokwe, I know we didn't give you as much time as you would want, but I'm sure you've also been sitting in this webinar and have had time to just listen in, and I don't want to keep you any longer, but definitely we will have further engagements after this one. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to our very, very last panel, where we're going to talk about personal stories of solidarity and economic empowerment. That is our last panel discussion. And I'm hoping that we still have Mr. Beki Twala from the Township Economic Empowerment in the house. Is Mr. Becky Twala still in the house? Mr. Becky Twala, I think he's not here. Mr. Buntu Mawisa and Tony Sutherland. I see there is a Tony Sutherland. Thank you so much. Mr. Bekitwala. Oh, there is Mr. Bekitwala. And then we're just missing Mr. Buntu Mawisa. I do apologize in advance for keeping you for so long. I think the discussions were just too much in detail, but there was so much to talk about. And I would like to appreciate you for your time and your patience. Without... You are there, Mr. Twala. We see you. I'm just gonna, give you 5 minutes to introduce yourself, and then just share your personal stories with us so that we can understand, the stories of solidarity and economic empowerment. Let us know what happened and what do you take away as we talk about music tourism. So I'll start with you, Mr. Twala. And then I think we don't have a Mr. Bantu, so it will be you, Mr. Twala, and then followed by Mr. Tony Sutherland. Thank you so much. Please go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself and tell us your story. Thank you. Mr. Tola? I think he just saw that you are ready, Mr. Sutherland, because now he's disappeared. Shall we go with you because you're ready for us?
Oh, I'm absolutely pleased to be invited. Thanks to Dominic and Michael for inviting me. I hope you can hear me okay.
Very well, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. I am certainly of the mindset as we're sharing. I like to be able to share my face and share my presence and share my energy with you. As an instructor, a teacher, I say to my students as well when we're speaking, whether it be in class or from a distance like this, is we reach out as best we can. So I feel that by showing my face and being here is part of my sharing, as well as the content that I've got to give to you. I was brought on board for relatively last minute, so I trust that the material, a couple of quick points that I have to offer will be of interest and of use to the participants here today. But just brief background about myself. I've been in the music industry for over 30 years. I worked for A&M Island and Motown Records just before they became a part of the Universal Music Group. Had an opportunity to work with a number of different artists across various genres. I'm going to say my experience is mostly Canadian. I'm from a Caribbean background. I've worked with soca music, calypso music, reggae music, etc. I was instrumental in a number of ways in helping to build an infrastructure in not just Toronto. I'm based just outside of Toronto, but I was instrumental in helping to build an infrastructure not just in Toronto, but across Canada, from helping with the awards platform that we have called the Juno Awards. I was able to start something called an Urban Music Awards, which was geared towards more of the Black music community in Canada. I have advocated on behalf of, I'm going to use the word urban or Black music artists, because when we say urban music here, we tend to talk about anything from world music, and it could be, I say, music from around the world. But we also talk about gospel music, and we talk about Caribbean music, and whether it be rap music, dance music, etc. Those are all pieces of our sort of collective, what we call urban music pie. So I've been I'm gonna say blessed in many ways to be involved in the scene here and help our artists progress. Currently, I've just recently retired. I use the word retired in quotation marks because I still do a lot of work in the field of teaching at a college. I'm finishing up a master's degree in education at a university here, and I hope to go on to a PhD. And I heard a couple of our PhDs, I'm going to say students and doctors here as well. And I'm encouraged by the work that you're doing. I want to look up your work, and I want to get more information about what you're doing, because I find a lot of the information in terms from a PhD point of view about the music industry is lacking, as I've been doing as much research as I can on the music industry. A lot of it is very conjecture, a lot of sort of editorializing about music industry. So it's nice to be able to hear I think it was Jonathan that talked about that we need more facts, we need more research, we need more information, so that we can base what we do on facts. We can base what we do on real, solid empirical evidence rather than simply conjecture. So I have started recently an organization called DREAMS, DREAMS. And DREAMS is an acronym for Durham Regional Excellence in Arts, Music, and Sound. Okay, we're good. I just want to pause. So okay, I think I'm good. So the organization I started, it's a not-for-profit, and essentially with the not-for-profit organizations here, it gives us an advantage in many ways to be able to apply for a number of grants. And these grants are, I want to use the word again, I use the quotation marks, free money. It's pretty much the government and other organizations that provide funding for organizations that are doing a variety of different things. And one organization might offer you money because you are involved in maybe community building. Another person might offer money because you are doing something where you're developing artists, or you're developing the live music sector. So there are opportunities as a not-for-profit organization for us to be able to apply for these different grants. And hopefully we're successful, and as was asked of the gentleman in Brazil, we're able to then fund what we're doing. Without that money, without that funding, and then we're caught struggling for sponsorships. We're caught, going to the bank to ask the bank to give us loans, or pulling money out of our own pockets to be able to make these events work. And so that is I'm mentioning this because this is part of sort of the micro part of building a music industry. We've talked a lot about the macro parts of the outreach, the international outreach, the travel, the visas, all those things are part of the macro, but there's micro pieces to this as well, which is a couple of things quickly I just want to mention. So that's a little bit of my background, and the three things maybe I can mention very, very briefly in terms of the topic itself. One, I'm going to say in terms of solidarity and economic empowerment in local music industry sector, one is collective action and community infrastructure. Developing that collective action and a community infrastructure, shared platforms, for instance, advocacy, collaborative leadership. Those are general big terms, and I won't go into too much detail in the interest of time, but I hope that you sort of get a feel of what I'm saying when I say those three things. Shared platforms means like creating organizations that can work across the different platforms, different kinds of music, where people come together and share information. So what South Africa Music Week is doing is one of those shared platforms where you're bringing people together with different interests. And I hear different people asking about different things that might be very specific to you, and it's fantastic. On the other hand, we have to talk, but we also have to listen, and we have to be able to share and understand that it's not only us that's in the room. There are other people in the room that have interests as well, that want to build what they're doing, but together we can go far. together we can do so much more. So that's collective action and community infrastructure. Second piece is economic empowerment through local value chains, and it's creating sustainability. Keeping value and jobs within the region. So whether it be in Canada or whether it be from the area that I'm in the Durham region, in just outside Toronto, or whether it be in South Africa as a country, or in Joburg as a city. Those are things that we have to look at. Is how do we build this sort of those micro infrastructure up and make them sustainable? Because within the big picture, those pieces are what helps. They're the bricks that hold the entire structure together. Drake didn't become an artist on his own one day. Drake was built up through different people doing different things over a period of time. So when we hear of the work that Drake is doing or The Weeknd is doing from Canada, these are not anomalies. These are things that's been built over time on sweat and blood and arguing and conversations and getting together and creating opportunities for all of us to share. Local first. This is the other point I have here on economic empowerment and local value chains. Local first, purchasing, investment, people, products, building up the venues, making sure that you encourage people to go out and see live shows, making sure that we ask people, educate people to be able to pay for shows and buy music legitimately. We can talk about streaming, how streaming is not paying the artists, but are we cutting CDs and giving it to people? Are we undercutting the artist? So those are things that we have to talk about as well, is making sure that we can build up the venues, build up the artists, make sure we pay artists properly, make sure we pay them fairly, etc. Entrepreneurship training. We have a lot of people here that are entrepreneurs. I mean, a lot of it is very technical in terms of when we get into a business, and sometimes as we're learning about this music business. But people sometimes know maybe one thing about a business, maybe the finance, or they know a lot about the music itself, but they don't know anything about publishing. They don't know anything about record labels. They don't know anything about artist management, anything about venue management, etc. And those are things that we have to, how can we make sure that those people are plugged in? How can we develop those people as well to make sure that they can become better entrepreneurs, more responsible entrepreneurs? The last point is about representation, equity, and shared narratives. Stories. What we're doing right now is telling stories. Inclusive storytelling and equitable access to the industry. Make sure that people are telling their stories, sharing the good and sharing the not so good, so we can all learn from it, and share those narratives, of course, that everybody learns as best we can. Solidarity through diversity. Everybody has a voice. Everybody should have a voice, and every voice should be heard. Everyone should be heard in some way. So those are things as well in terms of representation, equity, and shared narratives. And the lastly is cultural ownership. Music is culture, and music, as well as we all know, there's ownership in music. So we have to make sure as we share our culture, let's make sure that we have the ownership. Let's make sure that not just about monetizing, but we have to make sure that we monetize it, but we have to make sure that the ownership is fair and equitable, and of course that we can get some economic gain from it. That's my few minutes. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for that information, Mr. Sutherland. I must say, firstly, when you were introducing yourself, I was like, oh, wow, I like how your retirement looks like, because it's talking PhD, it's taking school, but that is quite interesting to note. And thank you so much for the pointers that you shared with us. Everybody has a voice, and every voice must be heard. And there's so many that I can quote. But in the interest of time, I'm going to allow the other speaker to speak to us, to share his own information and stories about solidarity and economic empowerment. Mr. Twala, whilst we were not finding you, we decided to overtake you, but I think you're back online with us now. Please go ahead, sir.
No, thank you very much, Madam Chair. Am I audible?
Very much so, thank you.
Okay, no, thank you. I'm aware that we are on a graveyard session, and then I won't be there. My name is Peggy, my events Twala. I'm the founder and the president of the Township Economic Commission SA. We started advocating, lobbying for township economy in 1990. I'm a recipient of the Community Build of the Year Awards in 1993 with the recognition of the work that we're doing. We started the whole concept of the township economy from the creative space. This is why creative industry, it's one of the dearest industries within the township economy. Colleagues, when we talk about township economy, we're not just talking about only informal economies. Township economy is 60% formal and 40% informal. It's not just only spaza shop. We've got close to about 20 plus sectors in the township economy. Creative industry is one of them that I want us to focus on, but we've advocated, lobbied for township economy. This is why we say township economy first. We're making sure that at the end of the day, the township and the rural economy is not left behind. We've got a number of achievements. For example, in Gauteng, we've got what we call the Township Economic Development Act. We also making sure that township businesses, in terms of compliance, they get to make sure that they are compliant. But yeah, basically that's what we do. And then we are now also fully participating in the G20. We've launched what we call the Township Economy G20 Business Council. We just successfully, had 3 summits. One was the Global Diaspora Alliance Summit, which we're talking about the diaspora economy. The second one was the Royal 20, which will make sure that the royals, they are not left behind as one of the critical sectors, in our communities. Then the last one is the G20 Township 20 that we are also having the last day on Friday, where we'll be hosting our third day. This offering in Soweto, making sure that also communities in the townships are not left behind with what is happening with the G20. Madam Chair, I just want to stop there because I know, in the interest of time, and then we are in the graveyard, and then obviously we'll continue. But I just want to say opportunity and the people on the platform, we've been following this meeting since it started. Now, going in, going out, going in, because we've got other things that we're doing. I'm also participating in the B20 tomorrow, and then until Friday. But we are excited about our country hosting the G20. Remember, colleagues, the G20 is not a South African G20, it's an African G20. It's very interesting because it's the last country that we are hosting from the South, but also from the circle of the G20. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thala. Thank you for that consideration of understanding we in the gravy train, but also thank you for unpacking the different sectors, because I think so often we think that township economy is mostly informal. So thank you for breaking that down. So I was still able to learn something from you, even if you gave us a 5-minute talk. Appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, on the call, we had 2 panelists who spoke very well about what they do and their stories within solidarity and economic empowerment. Are there any questions that you have for them? I think they're also thinking a gravy train. But also you spoke so well because I just took notes. So if there aren't any questions, they're not because it's really gravy train. That's too. But also what you said was so eloquently said. So, Mike, I know you always have a question or a comment.
Yeah, Tony, I want to thank you for gracing our event. And I know you had to wait the whole day. I've been checking there if you're going to sleep. But, what you said about you doing the master's and now going into a PhD, I mean, that's incredible. It looks like the whole business is in your DNA. And I think that you and I, when we have an opportunity to meet, I suspect it might be, we're doing our event in March. So that's an opportunity for you to come to Africa, and then in April, we're busy putting an event in Zimbabwe. We're launching Zimbabwe Africa Music Week, And if we trace the history of Bob Marley, he performed at the national independence of that country in 1974. So we're looking to bring the Marley family, the young generation of artists coming from Jamaica, to really rekindle the legacy of Bob Marley in Zimbabwe. But more importantly, we will be in Toronto at Departure in May. And so without further ado, I want to say thank you very much, and also to say to Baba Twala that certainly if you come to South Africa, Tony, and you never go to Soweto, Soweto is basically the catalyst in moving around the country, is the heartbeat of the township economy, as our colleague Baba Twala has eloquently said. We were also supposed to be joined
Somebody silenced him, thank God. But I've already told Tony he's going to have an itinerary when he comes to South Africa. We're taking him to the townships.
Okay.
Him and his family. So we have it all set up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we know that it's been a long day. Let me hand it over to Linda. And the dialogue will continue beyond. And I heard very clearly from Tony in terms of the academic part of the music business. Knowledge is power, and solidarity. That's one of the words that you put on the table. Dialogue, partnership, collaboration. I think that's the essence of everything that we're about, and I think that resonated across. Tumelo, our brother there, wanted us to be sensitive to the disabled. And I think that this platform, in terms of our recommendations to the G20, is that we are all encompassing in terms of the issues, the challenges, and the opportunities that we need to embrace in taking this forward. I'm handing over to you, Linda.
Thank you, Pramike, but I think he's just literally concluded on what has been happening today. I think from my side is just to explain the process of what happens from now onwards. So all the information that has been shared throughout this webinar from the time that we started is going to be documented. Literally, we're going to extract the information that has been shared. And I know there are certain things that we need to do as the music industry, but there's certain things that we want to pass on to the G20 in terms of them considering from a policy perspective. So all of that information will be extracted from today's event and then will be forwarded to the C20, which is the task force that has endorsed us as people to people, and then they will forward that to the G20. So your time here has been amazing, and it has been worth everything, because then all of these contributions will not just stay within just us within the music space, but we are going to forward them to G20. And that it will be then communicated to you. And I know that from here onwards, Pramike will be in touch in terms of where to from here, based on what we need to do internally, but also to plan for future events. Once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you to all the panelists for taking your time from Canada to Brazil to Zimbabwe to Nigeria to the Congo, all over the world. We thank you. We had a little bit of a glitch with making a transition from Teams to this new platform, which has worked very, very well. We thank you very, very much for supporting this initiative, and we look forward to further engagement. And as Linda has said, our recommendations, we will ask for Jonathan and Gugu with their scientific approach to help us with compiling this report and recommendations that will be made to the G20. Thank you very much, and adios.
Yes.